Every month it arrives, sometimes in your email, sometimes still in the mail if you never got around to going paperless. Your credit card statement, and there is a specific ritual most people have developed around this document that they have never consciously chosen but perform with remarkable consistency. You open it, you find the minimum payment due, you check the due date, you pay the minimum or slightly above it, you close it, you move on. The total balance you glance at briefly but don't really process, because processing it would require doing math you don't want to do. The interest rate listed somewhere in the fine print you haven't looked at since you signed up for the card. The section showing how long it will take to pay off the balance if you only make minimum payments you have never once clicked on because nobody told you it was there, and if you had looked at it you would have immediately understood something about your credit card that the company that issued it is very motivated to prevent you from understanding. Credit cards are not a financial convenience with a small cost attached. They are one of the most sophisticated and deliberately engineered wealth extraction systems ever built. And the trap is not the interest rate. That's not the part nobody talks about. The trap is something more fundamental than that. Something built into the structure of how these products work at a level most people never see. And by the time I'm done explaining it, you are going to look at the card in your wallet very differently than you look at it right now. My name is Sig, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, the financial products designed to take it from you, and the specific mechanisms that keep otherwise intelligent and hardworking people stuck in cycles of debt they genuinely cannot understand how they ended up in. If you want honest conversations about how money actually works and what the financial industry would prefer you never figure out, subscribe to this channel right now and give this video a thumbs up if it changes something real about how you think about the plastic in your wallet. Because the credit card industry in America generates over $130 billion in interest and fee revenue every single year. That money comes from somewhere. It comes from the people who use these cards the way the companies that issue them are hoping you will use them. And understanding the mechanism is the only thing that gives you any real protection against it. Let me start with something that sounds obvious, but whose implications most people have never fully followed to the end. The credit card company does not make money when you pay your balance in full every month. When you swipe your card at a restaurant and pay the full statement balance before the due date, the card company earns about 2% of that transaction from the merchant. That is it. That is their entire revenue from you for that month. They want you to carry a balance. They want you to pay the minimum. They want you to feel like the minimum payment is responsible behavior when in fact the minimum payment is the most profitable thing you can do for them and the most destructive thing you can do for yourself simultaneously. The minimum payment is not designed to help you pay off your debt. It is mathematically engineered to extend the period over which you carry a balance as long as possible while keeping the monthly number low enough that you never feel urgent about eliminating it. Let me show you exactly what I mean with numbers that should genuinely disturb you. If you have a $5,000 balance on a credit card at 22% interest and you make only the minimum payment every month, which typically starts around $100 and decreases as the balance decreases, it will take you approximately 17 years to pay off that $5,000 balance. In that time, you will pay approximately $5,800 in interest alone. You will have paid nearly $12,000 total for something that cost you $5,000. The card company did not hide this from you. It is in your statement, in a box that federal law now requires them to include, a box that nobody ever told you to look at, and a box that the statement design makes as visually unimportant as possible so your eye moves naturally past it toward the minimum payment due. Here is the part nobody talks about, and I mean this literally. The interest rate is not the core trap. The interest rate is the obvious part, the thing that personal finance content covers constantly, the thing everyone knows is bad, the real trap, the mechanism that makes the credit card system so extraordinarily profitable and so genuinely difficult to escape once you are inside it, is the minimum payment structure combined with the credit limit increase. Here is how it works. You open a card with a $2,000 limit. You use it. You carry a balance. You pay the minimum. After 6 to 8 months of on-time minimum payments, the card company does something that feels like a reward. They increase your credit limit from 2,000 to 4,000, from 4,000 to 7,000. This feels like a vote of confidence. It feels like recognition that you are a responsible card holder. It is neither of those things. A credit limit increase is a revenue opportunity. The card company's data shows that the majority of people who receive a credit limit increase use the additional available credit within 90 days. They spend up to the new limit. Their balance grows. The minimum payment grows slightly but remains affordable. And now they are carrying $4,000 or $6,000 of balance instead of $2,000. At 22% interest, that is more money for the card company every single month indefinitely. You did not ask for more credit. They gave it to you because their data showed you would use it. And you did, because available credit feels like available money even when you intellectually understand that it is not. This is not a character flaw. This is a deliberately engineered psychological response to a deliberately engineered financial product. The best behavioral economists in the world helped design the system that you are sitting inside of right now. Let me show you what happens to a real person who uses credit cards the way most Americans use them, because I think the math makes the trap visible in a way that abstract description cannot. Someone we will call Ryan is 26 years old. He has 3 credit cards with a combined balance of $11,000. His average interest rate across the 3 cards is 21%. His combined minimum payments are approximately $220 per month. Ryan pays his minimums faithfully. He never misses a payment. His credit score is decent. He feels like he is managing his debt responsibly. Here is what Ryan's credit card math actually looks like. The $11,000 balance at 21% generates $2,310 in interest per year. That is $192.50 per month just in interest charges. Ryan's minimum payment of $220 covers the interest and reduces his principal by approximately $27.50 per month. $27.50 on $11,000 of debt. At that rate, assuming Ryan never adds another dollar to his balances, it will take him approximately 28 years to pay off his credit cards with minimum payments. Ryan will be 54 years old when the cards are paid off. He will have paid approximately $22,000 in interest on top of the $11,000 he originally borrowed. $33,000 total for $11,000 of purchases. And every month Ryan feels like he is handling his finances because the minimum payment clears and nobody calls him. He is not handling his finances. He is trapped in a system that is designed to keep him exactly where he is for as long as mathematically possible. Here is something the credit card industry spent decades and billions of dollars developing, and that most people interacting with these products have no idea exists. The entire experience of using a credit card, from the physical feel of the card to the way the statement is designed, to the language used in marketing materials to the timing and framing of credit limit increases, has been optimized using behavioral psychology research to maximize spending and minimize the psychological discomfort associated with debt. Physical cards are deliberately heavier than they need to be. The weight creates a sensation of value and substance. Swiping or tapping triggers less psychological pain than handing over physical cash. Research consistently shows that people spend more with cards than with cash for identical purchases because the separation between the action of spending and the consequence of spending eliminates the immediate emotional feedback that makes cash spending feel real. The word credit in credit card is deliberate. Credit implies trustworthiness. It implies you have earned something. It does not imply debt, which is what it actually is. The minimum payment is labeled minimum payment rather than what it actually represents, which is the amount required to keep the debt growing profitably for as long as possible. Rewards programs, the cashback, the airline miles, the points are the most sophisticated part of the system because they convert the act of spending into the experience of earning. Every purchase generates a reward. The reward creates a positive association with using the card. The positive association increases spending. The increased spending generates balances. The balances generate interest. The interest is where the real money is. The rewards cost the card company roughly 1% of transaction value. The interest charges, when you carry a balance, generate 22% annually. The math on who benefits from rewards programs favors the card company at every income level except for the small percentage of users who pay their balance in full every single month without exception. Let me show you how this plays out over a real timeline, because I think seeing the progression makes the trap's design visible in a way that the individual components do not. Sarah is 24 years old. She graduates college and gets her first real job earning $48,000. She opens her first credit card, a starter card with a $1,500 limit. She uses it for convenience and pays it in full most months. After 8 months of on-time payments, the card company increases her limit to $3,500. She uses it a bit more freely. She carries a small balance for a couple of months when moving expenses hit. The balance is $400. She pays minimums. At 26, she is offered a second card with better rewards. She takes it. $2,000 limit. She now has 2 cards with a combined available credit of $5,500. By 28, she has carried modest balances on both cards through a few expensive months. Combined balance is $2,200. She pays minimums. Both cards have given her limit increases. Her combined available credit is now $9,000. At 30, Sarah has a combined balance of $6,000 across 3 cards. She got a third card at 29 when the airline miles offer seemed genuinely useful for a trip she was planning. She is still paying minimums on the first 2. Her minimum payments are approximately $150 per month combined. She has been paying credit card minimums for 6 years. She has a good credit score because she has never missed a payment. She has never sat down and calculated what $6,000 at 22% interest is actually costing her per year. The answer is $1,320 every year, going to card companies, not reducing her balance in any meaningful way, not building anything, just maintaining the system that keeps her inside the trap. Sarah is not irresponsible. Sarah is exactly the customer these products were designed to create. Here is something most card holders have never read and the card companies are counting on them never reading. The average credit card agreement in America, approximately 5,000 words long. It is written at approximately a 12th grade reading level. It contains the actual terms under which the card company can change your interest rate, add fees, and modify the agreement going forward. In most agreements, the card company reserves the right to increase your interest rate on existing balances with as little as 45 days' notice. They can add an annual fee that did not exist when you opened the account. They can reduce your credit limit, which changes your credit utilization ratio and can drop your credit score. All of these changes are disclosed in the original agreement that you accepted by activating the card and that you did not read because nobody reads 5,000 words of 12th grade financial legalese to get a credit card. The late fee on most cards is now $30 per occurrence. Miss a payment by a single day and you pay $30. Missed payments in a row and many cards trigger what is called the penalty APR, which can be as high as 29.99%. That penalty rate can apply to your entire existing balance, not just future purchases. And while the Card Act of 2009 requires card companies to restore your original rate after -1 months of on-time payments if you trigger the penalty APR once your history with that card is permanently changed in ways that affect the offers and treatment you receive going forward. The system is not designed to be fair to people who make one mistake. It is designed to be profitable from every mistake anyone makes. Here is the question that deserves an honest answer. If credit card debt is this clearly expensive and this deliberately engineered to trap people, why do so many intelligent people stay in it for years or decades? The answer is not ignorance exactly, because most people know credit card interest rates are high. The answer is a combination of factors that the industry understands far better than the people inside the system do. The first factor is the monthly payment illusion. The minimum payment is calibrated to be affordable, not comfortable but manageable. $200 a month on $11,000 of debt feels payable, which means the debt feels manageable, which means it does not feel like an emergency. And things that do not feel like emergencies do not get treated with emergency-level urgency. The second factor is the available credit confusion. When you have a credit card with a $2,000 available balance, your brain processes that available credit as available money, not as available debt. The distinction is everything, and the brain does not make it naturally. Available credit is not money you have. It is money you can borrow at 22% interest. But it feels like a buffer. It feels like security. And that feeling of false security makes people less aggressive about eliminating the underlying debt because they feel like they have options even when those options all involve additional borrowing. The third factor is the reward psychology. Making a purchase that generates cash back or points releases a small amount of dopamine. The brain associates the card with small positive experiences, and emotional associations with financial products are extraordinarily powerful in determining behavior regardless of what the person intellectually understands about the true cost of using. Let me tell you how to actually get out of credit card debt, because I think most advice on this topic is too gentle about the urgency required. Credit card debt at 20% or above is a financial emergency, not a problem to manage, an emergency to eliminate. The approach that works is not complicated, but it requires treating the debt with a level of seriousness that most minimum payment psychology is designed to prevent you from feeling. First, stop using the cards, not reduce usage. Stop. Every dollar added to a balance carrying 22% interest is a dollar that needs to earn more than 22% somewhere else to justify its existence. Nothing in a regular person's life earns 22% guaranteed. Pay for things with your debit card or cash while you eliminate the balances. Second, list every card with its balance and interest rate. Order them by interest rate from highest to lowest. Third, pay the minimum on every card except the one with the highest interest rate. On that one, throw everything you can find, every extra dollar from every source. The math on the debt avalanche, paying the highest rate first, is unambiguous. It minimizes total interest paid. It is the fastest way out. Fourth, if your credit score is still decent enough to qualify, look at a balance transfer card with a 0% introductory period. Moving a high-interest balance to a 0% card for 12 to 18 months and aggressively paying it down during that window can save a significant amount of interest and accelerate your payoff. Be certain you understand the transfer fee and the rate that applies after the introductory period ends. Fifth, treat the extra payment as non-negotiable, not as something you do with what's left at the end of the month, as a bill that gets paid the same day your paycheck arrives before any discretionary spending happens. The people who get out of credit card debt are not the ones with the most willpower. They are the ones who automate the payment before the money becomes available for anything else. Here is something worth actually picturing, because I think the end state needs to be as vivid as the trap state for this to produce any motivation that lasts past the end of the video. When your credit card balances are at zero and you have made a genuine decision to never carry a balance again, something shifts in your financial life that is different from what you might expect. It does not feel like deprivation. It feels like your paycheck got bigger. The money that was going to minimum payments is now available for other things. The cognitive load of tracking due dates, managing which card has the highest balance, calculating whether you can afford to put something on the card, that whole mental infrastructure just disappears. You stop doing the math that the card companies trained you to do. You start doing different math. The math of what your income actually is available for when none of it is pre-committed to servicing debt at 22% annually, and the money you redirected from minimum payments into savings and investing starts compounding forward instead of backward. Every month that passes without a credit card balance is a month where your financial trajectory is moving in the direction you actually want it to go rather than in the direction that is profitable for the company that issued you a piece of Plastic when you were 24 and told you it was a financial tool. I want to leave you with one clear thought about credit cards that I think is the most useful frame for thinking about every interaction you have with these products going forward. The company that issued you that card is not on your side. That is not a cynical statement. It is a structural one. The company's obligation is to its shareholders. Its shareholders are best served when card holders carry balances and pay interest and fees for as long as possible. Every feature of the product, the rewards, the limit increases, the minimum payment structure, the 5,000-word agreement, the penalty APR is designed with that objective in mind, not with your financial well-being in mind, not with your retirement in mind, not with the version of your life where money works for you rather than the other way around in mind. Understanding that the product is not designed to serve your interests does not mean you cannot use it. Plenty of people use credit cards intelligently, pay the balance in full every month, earn the rewards, and never pay a cent in interest. But using them intelligently requires understanding exactly how they are designed to work against you and actively choosing to use them differently. The trap is not in the card. The trap is in using a product designed to extract wealth from you as though it were a financial tool designed to help you build it. The card is a tool. The question is whose interest that tool is serving. And right now, for the majority of Americans carrying balances month after month, the answer to that question is not them.